Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with a caramel pork belly. Such a trendy ingredient. You see it on like every show now. And, I figured it's about time I did something with it. I found a beautiful piece of pork belly in Japantown, San Francisco. It's about a 10-ounce piece of Berkshire pork. And if you're saying, hey, that looks like bacon, same cut. It's pork belly is bacon that's cured and smoked. So I'm going to take a piece of heavy-duty aluminum foil. I'm going to put down a little bed of green onions. Place my pork down, the fattier side down. I'm going to give a little bit of salt to the meatier side there, not too much. The caramel sauce is fairly salty, so just a little sprinkle of salt, some more green onions, and then I'm going to wrap this up in a couple layers of aluminum foil. I'm going to press it nice and firm, most of the air out of there. All right, so that's one piece, wrap it in another piece, and what we're going to do is we're going to put it in a loaf pan with the seam side up, and we're going to roast this really slowly in a very, very, very slow oven. So 200 degrees, and we're going to set our timer for 5.5 hours. And after 5.5 hours, we're going to turn off the oven and just leave the pork in there to cool. So it's going to stay in there another couple hours. Then you're going to refrigerate it overnight, which is really crucial. It's got to be completely chilled before you slice it. I'm going to pull off those green onions, and you see, because we cooked it so slowly, it really didn't lose much volume. I'm going to cut it in 8 pieces. And on medium heat, in a saute pan, I'm going to crisp up all 6 sides, which takes a little while. But you know what? You've already waited like a day, so, relax. Enjoy the ride. All right, so while that's crisping up, I'm going to get my caramel sauce ready, which is really simple. It's kind of a take on the Slanador caramel chicken sauce. Brown sugar, rice vinegar, fish sauce. You knew that was coming. And a little dash of soy sauce. And then I'm going to grate about a 2-ounce piece of ginger, squeeze it, to get that beautiful ginger juice. And that little piece of ginger was bugging me, so let me find that and get rid of it. And you see that pork, how beautifully it's browning. I want to get it all beautifully crispy and brown. I mean, listen to that. How are you not going to make this after listening to that? All right, for my aromatics, I got some sliced garlic, some green onions, and some dried red hot, fiery hot red chilies. All right, once my pork is brown, I'm going to soak up some of the oil, and I realize in some cultures I would be promptly arrested for doing that, but that's okay. I'm going to pull out most of the fat. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of that glaze. I'm going to turn the heat up to medium-high, and I just want to caramelize the edges of that pork first before I add the rest of the sauce. So just keep turning it. I recommend a freakishly small wooden spoon for this. Works very nicely. And you see there, as soon as it's glazed on all sides and that sugar has caramelized and it's almost getting from dark brown, borderline blackish, that is perfect. I'm going to make a little well in the middle. I'm going to add my aromatic vegetables, the garlic, the green onions, and the chilies. And we're going to just give that about a minute saute, and then we're going to add the rest of the ingredients, which is very basic. We're going to add a little bit of water, and we're going to add the rest of our glaze, the rest of our caramel sauce. And we're just going to simmer that until the sauce thickens a little bit. Remember, the pork's cooked. The pork is way cooked. So what we're doing, really, the pork is flavoring the sauce is absorbing all the flavors from the pork, and as soon as that sauce thickens up like that, our deliciously decadent pork belly is done. I'd say taste and adjust seasoning, but you can't, because the sauce is very intense. It's salty, sweet, tangy, spicy, but the reason for that is I'm going to serve this on some fairly bland brown rice that I cooked with some bok choy. So when you eat the rich pork and you break it apart and eat it with that rice and bok choy, the intense sauce really works perfectly together. This is one of the most delicious things I've eaten in months, and I hope you try it. Get a small piece of pork belly. You don't need much. A little bit goes a long way, and give that a try. All the ingredients are on the site. And as always, enjoy.